Hello everybody, 'tis a new week and it's a bank holiday here in the UK, so I can actually record an MCN fresh on a Monday, so that's nice. There's not a huge amount going on from a sense of Kabam responding back to the community for bugs, issues, things that's meant to be addressed, but there's still stuff that we've got to go over, like this. Battlegrounds results for Season 20. MCOC Avenger, shout out to MCOC Avenger, link in the description to MCOC Avenger, has put together some results from various players and sources as to what was the take home, what was the score. Of course, the score sense is that we didn't really have much data from the top part, and if you see, like, just give data out to people just so that we can start creating stuff for predictions and also alignment for what alliances have to do. I'm giving you a sense of, well, has this differed, or is there any difference from what an alliance would put in effort-wise? Well, it has done slightly. There are the anniversary Battleground seasons that kind of mess up the scheme of, okay, we're shooting for this to get this. But then there's times where you go, oh, right, well, Season 18, I believe, was an anniversary season. Season 19 was the season that you had the extra Deathless piece, but also extra rewards within it. So players would have found themselves pushing further and in order to get the stuff. This is why you saw stuff like for 59th position, 15 mil with Season 19, and position 49th with 13 mil there. So you see there's a little bit of a difference there. It's a little bit higher. But then you look at other seasons and go, well, 100th position, 12 mil. But then 104th position, which you can see down there, 11 mil with Season 19. And then go to Season 20 side of things, which you go back to this one and go, well, 83rd position, 12.2 mil. So it's all similar, but of course with an anniversary season, everything is bumped up to the 9, because a lot of people are putting more effort in. You'll have to get more points to get more milestones. If Kabam go, oh, we're going to put in a 500k milestone, then, and if all your alliance mates go grab it, then we can do the quick math on that and what it does to everything. So you go 500,000 times 30 members equals 15 mil. So everybody in your alliance is doing 15 mil, and that would, you'd hope, get you at a position of what there, 30th position, anything between 154 or kind of near 30th there. That won't be the case. That will be largely like you'll find yourself barely scratching into the top 80, I want to say, with it. It always differs season by season. If there's an anniversary season on, if there's something like a chase piece, and if Kabam have loaded the milestones with anything in particular. Still very interesting to see where Battlegrounds are, but it's still a very much fun and decently attended mode. I hope that they do further things to improve, say, reward take home with it, and also look at things when it comes to progression and making gains in it, because a lot of people invest a lot of time into Battlegrounds, and you want to make sure that your time is of worth to what you get back from it. Also this week, I'd hope to see a balance update for Destroyer and Serpent. It feels like these balance updates are coming a little bit slower, and I know a lot of people, I've even seen like content being put out by creators on it. Of course, you can see decent counters. America Chavez against Serpent seems to be a very good counter in general. So if you're looking to rank up a champion, go for that to help out against the usual suspects that you might face off against. With that, I'm not a big fan of Serpent, but you know, I've got counters for it. I don't actually see it quite so much in defense in Battlegrounds that much. But in any case, I hope this week we actually see a balance update for the champion. We'll just have to hold our breath and see if that is the case. And now we end the show because, as I said, there's not much going on at the moment, covering the information over the weekend. Shout out to Vega, Crashed, and Fintech, and Andrew the Rough. Basically, if you don't know already, Vega does a VBC, which is a Battlegrounds Championship. So it's Vega's Battlegrounds Championships, featuring Andrew and Fintech. And very highly competitive, highly skilled players, and it's always great to see that in action. But on that stream, we got some really key bits of information, which I'm just going to pick out some highlights to just talk about. Yes, I did do a full video yesterday, which everyone fantastically supported, and that was amazing. So thanks very much to everybody. But there's a few things that I want to cherry pick to talk about, which I think are going to be very interesting for the community. So one of the main things was the Banquet event 2023. 2023 was without doubt the most controversial in a sense of how it rewarded players at the top end of the game. We did a lot of coverage on this one, and even Kabam admitted to themselves being wrong. The Kabam Crash put out a kind of a statement about it, saying that it was undertuned, particularly the rank up materials in the milestones and ranked rewards. It kind of didn't align. We did obviously a bit of coverage of this one back early parts of this year. So this was after or towards the right end point of the Banquet event itself. I love the Banquet event. It was still good. But at the time, I think I made the decision to save my units because the rewards were trash, versus taking those units to do Necropolis. And that's how I used January to do 100% of Necropolis. It was a slog, but I got it done. And I was really happy at that. And that's something that I kind of felt accomplished at the time. And I felt those units were better placed in Necropolis versus doing a push for Banquet event, which I think I had about 20,000 plus units at the time, and I thought, no, I'll do Necropolis instead. It's more viable for me. A lot of people remember that. There was a thread that kind of popped up after the live stream, kind of like with some people going like Anniversary of Anguish and Banquet of Bleakness. Based on lashes, I think making guesses will just lead to more disappointment. True. However, I'm excited to find out who is in the Banquet pool, because it's something quite exciting. After year's Banquet's disappointment, I'm expecting disappointment this time. 7-star Awakening Gems, that's what I hope that we go down the route of. And yes, this was something, I don't know if Kabam Crashed said it was going to be progression based. He said that it would be better for people. But we'll kind of like, I'll watch it back again, but I did not get that level of, that's what he was saying. Anyway, Kabam saying that they're going to do better by this particular event is fantastic.
It's such an enormous endeavor to put together those big sales days, and there's so many groups of players that we have to think about that it's hard to get everything right. But I'm really comfortable right now. Overall, again, I think the Banquet event this year, we already have some plans for exactly how we're gonna do better for that group of players. I think it's gonna be really exciting.
There was also something that I completely missed off from my coverage, and that was something that Crash said. As I watched back the live stream, there was something slightly missed. Look, it's only a slight thing, and that is the Saga, which goes for 4 months, is going to honor the past of the game. What that will really mean, I don't know. You could say that, well, there's certain things that happened once in a while, like Pim Particles. Does everybody remember Pim Particles? Pepperidge Farm remembers. And remember, Pim Particles, the micro realm. There's been something of a variant. Back issues. There's a back issues for it. The micro realm or whatever it is. You used to be able to used to get Pim Particles as a currency and spend them elsewhere. The same thing as you had gamma radiation as a currency. Will there be these things that will be nods back to them? Valor, which again was a currency, but also those different fun out there modes, negative zones, loads of things from the past of MCOC, and that's going to be quite fun to kind of relive the last 10 years as little kind of either, I'm not sure it's going to be micro events because that wasn't confirmed, but nods to that past that we had. Fighting different bosses for the first time. Will that be there? Either way, it's going to be a very fun time in the world of Marvel Contest of Champions. The final topic I want to cover in the MCN today is rework. Something mentioned by Crashed is that there are a ton of reworks on the way. Thank God. There are lots of champions, which you can see. These are some of the previous rework going back to 2020 on the list right here. There's more, by the way, there is more added to this, but this is the only image I could quickly grab. And I know some of the community has done something like this, just trying to find it in a very quick time. Can't do it. But reworks are important. There's a lot of champions still that need reworking. Great Superior Iron Man was given a fantastic buff. We've seen Red Skull being given I always knew it was like Iron Skull. The OGs will know about that. Anyway, the champions, there's lots. Like you go into, ignore the fact there's some really decent champions that I should be ranking up, but I do have 7-star versions, or I don't have the time to rank up. Next month when I take a bit of holiday, I will be sitting down and ranking up a lot of champions and sorting my roster out, I tell you that much. But the list is quite long. You've got Ghost Rider, you've got Mephisto, you've got Iron Patriot, maybe Taskmaster, champions that without synergies by themselves are not particularly great. Rhino, again, ignore the fact that there's some champions here that should be ranked up to like rank 4, rank 5 next month when I get a bit of time for me and my account without having to go, let's focus on making this video because it's beneficial for other people. Is it say as I do... do as I say, not as I do. Not as I do, something like that. Where it's like, oh, if I had the time to sort out myself and my account. Black Widow, of course, a lot of the champions that are part of the recent rework vote. There's tons of champions that still need reworking, and hopefully Kabam are going to sit us down in the next week, 2 weeks, month, whatever, and say, hey, we're going to be buffing these. Overhaul this one. Moderate buff this one. Value buff this, like do a complete rework of some of them, if not all of them at lower end. Moon Knight, got to be done. That's it for the coverage of this MCN, and the reason I mentioned that these buffs is that it's so important for players. You pull these champions, you want to use them, you can't use them. They could be your first champion, first out of Titan Crystal, and you just can't use them as much because they're not as effective as maybe they should be. So, fingers crossed for the future. Happy days for some really good news and positive news over the weekend. Shout out to Kabam Crash for doing it, because this is what we need. We need to know that the future of the game's in good hands. We know a lot of things that are happening that we can all get positively around. I know that we invested a lot of time, effort, and in some cases money into this game to know that it will have a further 10 years and will be always going each and every week. Did you hear that they're going to be doing this? And everyone goes, no, that's brilliant. Positive. That's what we're going to be looking towards the future. That's been the MCN for Monday. Check out some other content located on screen right now, and I'll see you all soon. Have a lovely day and goodbye.